My dear friends, imagine this. You walk into a room, and before you even speak, people have already formed an opinion about you. They've decided whether you're confident or nervous, successful or struggling, worth their time or not. Now, here's the interesting part. You also walk into a room every single day. That room is your own mind, and in that room there's someone who has already formed an opinion about you. That someone is you. And the question I want to ask you today is this. When you meet yourself in that room, when you look into the mirror of your own consciousness, do you meet your best version? Or do you meet a stranger? Someone you barely recognize, someone who is far from who you truly want to be. You see, my friends, we spend our entire lives trying to introduce ourselves to others. We craft resumes, we practice handshakes, we carefully choose our words on social media, we dress in particular ways. But how many of us have actually taken the time to introduce our best version to ourselves? How many of us truly know who that person is? And more importantly, how many of us are living as that person right now, in this very moment? I want to share something with you. Last month, I met a young professional, brilliant person, working in a top company, earning well, living in a beautiful apartment. From the outside, everything looked perfect. But when we sat down to talk, this person said something that broke my heart. They said, "I feel like I'm wearing a mask every single day. I don't know who I really am anymore." Now, this is not just one person's story. This is the story of millions. We've become so good at introducing different versions of ourselves to different people that we've forgotten to introduce our authentic, best version to the most important person in our lives, ourselves. Let me tell you what I mean by your best version. Your best version is not the richest version of you. It's not the most successful version according to society's standards. It's not the version that has the most followers on social media or the biggest house or the fanciest car. Your best version is the version of you that is aligned with your deepest values, your authentic self, your true purpose. It's the version of you that sleeps peacefully at night because you've lived that day with integrity. It's the version of you that looks in the mirror and feels genuine respect for the person staring back. It's the version of you that others remember not for what you had, but for how you made them feel. It's the version of you that leaves a legacy, not of possessions, but of positive impact. Now, you might be wondering, why is introducing this best version so important? Let me paint a picture for you. Think about your smartphone. Beautiful device, isn't it? But imagine if you bought the latest, most expensive smartphone and you only used it to make calls. Just calls, nothing else. No apps, no camera, no internet, no messages. Just calls. Would you be using that phone to its full potential? Of course not. That phone has extraordinary capabilities, but you're only accessing a tiny fraction of what it can do. My friends, the same applies to us. Each one of us has been blessed with extraordinary capabilities, unique talents, incredible potential, but most of us are living at just 10 or 20% of our true capacity. We're like that expensive smartphone being used only for calls. We're not introducing our best version to the world because we haven't even introduced it to ourselves. We don't know what we're truly capable of. We've never explored the depths of our own potential. And this, my friends, is not just unfortunate. It's tragic. Think about this for a moment. Somewhere in this world, there are people waiting for your best version. There are people whose lives will be transformed by the gifts that only you possess. There are problems that only your unique combination of talents can solve. There are smiles that only your specific sense of humor can create. There are hearts that only your particular way of showing compassion can touch. But if you never introduce your best version, If you never become that person, those people will never meet you, those problems will remain unsolved, those smiles will never appear, those hearts will never be touched. Your best version is not just important for you, it's important for everyone whose life you're meant to touch. And I promise you, there are more people than you can imagine whose lives are waiting to be transformed by the best version of you. So today, my dear friends, we're going to embark on a journey together, a journey of self-discovery, transformation, and authentic living. We're going to explore how to introduce your best version, not just to the world, but first and most importantly, to yourself. Because once you truly know your best version, once you've been properly introduced to that incredible person living inside you, your entire life will transform. Are you ready? Let's begin this beautiful journey together. You know, when I travel around the world, I meet people from every walk of life. CEO and students, doctors and artists, young and old, rich and poor. And I've noticed something fascinating. Regardless of their background, regardless of their circumstances, there's one common thread that runs through the lives of most people I meet. It's a feeling that something is missing, a feeling that life could be more fulfilling, more meaningful, more joyful, more purposeful. They can't always put their finger on exactly what's missing, but they know something isn't quite right. They're living, yes, but are they truly alive? This brings me to what I believe is the core issue we all face today. And it's not a small problem, my friends. It's a crisis of identity, a crisis of authenticity, a crisis of purpose. We're living in a world that's constantly telling us who we should be. From the moment we wake up and check our phones, we're bombarded with images, messages, and expectations about who we should become. Social media shows us perfect lives, and tells us that's the standard we should meet. Our education system often values conformity over creativity, memorization over critical thinking. Our workplaces reward us for fitting in rather than standing out. Our families, with all their love and good intentions, sometimes project their unfulfilled dreams onto us. Our society measures success by narrow metrics: money, status, power, fame, and what happens? We start living someone else's version of our life. We choose careers not because we're passionate about them, but because they're prestigious or profitable. We pursue relationships not because they bring out our best, but because they look good on paper or satisfy others' expectations. We buy things we don't need with money. We don't have to impress people we don't even like. We post carefully curated moments on social media to create an illusion of a perfect life while feeling empty inside. We wear masks, different masks for different situations. One mask at work, another at home, another with friends, another on social media. And after a while, we wear so many masks that we forget what our real face looks like. Let me share a story that illustrates this beautifully. There was once a wealthy merchant who had a precious diamond. This diamond was his most valued possession, absolutely flawless, radiating brilliance. One day, the diamond developed a small crack. The merchant was devastated. He took it to the finest jewelers in the land, but each one said the same thing: the diamond is damaged. The crack cannot be removed without cutting the diamond down significantly, reducing its size and value. The merchant was heartbroken. Then an old craftsman came forward. He looked at the diamond carefully and said, "Give me the diamond. I will make it more valuable than it ever was." The merchant was skeptical but desperate, so he agreed. The craftsman took the diamond and worked on it for days. When he returned it, everyone gasped in amazement. The craftsman had not tried to remove the crack. Instead, he had used it as the stem and carved a beautiful rose into the diamond. The crack that was seen as a flaw became the most distinctive and beautiful feature of the diamond, making it truly one of a kind. My friends, This is what happens when we don't introduce our best version. We see our perceived flaws, our differences, our unique qualities as cracks that need to be hidden or removed. We spend our energy trying to be like everyone else, trying to fit in, trying to erase what makes us unique. We don't realize that our best version is not about becoming someone else. It's about embracing who we truly are, including our so-called flaws, and using everything we have, even our struggles and challenges, to create something beautiful and unique. The problem is we've been conditioned to believe that our best version is somewhere outside of us, waiting to be achieved through external accomplishments. We think, when I get that promotion, then I'll be my best version. Or when I lose those 10 kilograms, then I'll be my best version. Or when I make my first million, then I'll be my best version. But this is a trap. This is an illusion. Your best version is not a destination you arrive at someday in the future. Your best version is a way of being, a way of living, a way of showing up in the world every single day. Another aspect of this problem is comparison. Oh, how we love to compare. We compare our beginning to someone else's middle. We compare our behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. We compare our struggles to someone else's success. And every time we compare, we diminish ourselves. We tell ourselves we're not good enough, not smart enough, not talented enough, not worthy enough. Social media has made this problem exponentially worse. We scroll through endless feeds of other people's achievements, vacations, relationships, and accomplishments, and we feel inadequate. What we don't see is the struggle behind those perfect pictures, the failures that preceded those successes, the loneliness behind those smiling faces. Comparison is truly the thief of joy, my friends. And when we're constantly comparing ourselves to others, we can never introduce our best version because we're too busy trying to become someone else's version. There's another dimension to this problem that I must address. It's the problem of distraction. We live in the most distracted era in human history. Our attention is being pulled in 1,000 different directions every single moment. Notifications, messages, emails, news alerts, social media updates, advertisements. Our minds are never at rest, never at peace. We're always consuming content, always connected, always available. But in all this noise, we've lost the ability to hear our own inner voice. We've lost the ability to sit with ourselves, to reflect, to truly understand who we are and what we want. How can we introduce our best version when we don't even have time to meet ourselves? When was the last time you sat in complete silence for even 10 minutes? When was the last time you asked yourself, am I living the life I truly want to live? Am I becoming the person I truly want to become? We're so busy reacting to external stimuli that we've forgotten how to respond to our internal calling. We've become human doings rather than human beings, and perhaps the most painful part of this problem is regret. I meet so many people, especially as they get older, who carry deep regret. Regret for the dreams they never pursued. Regret for the words they never spoke. Regret for the chances they never took. Regret for the person they never became. They spent their whole lives preparing to live, but they never actually lived. They spent their whole lives trying to meet others' expectations, but they never met their own potential. They spent their whole lives waiting for the perfect moment to introduce their best version, but that perfect moment never came. And now, as they look back on their lives, they realize that the perfect moment was always now. The perfect moment was every moment, but they missed it because they were waiting, they were preparing, they were hesitating, they were afraid. So my dear friends, what is the solution? How do we break free from this trap? How do we stop living as a shadow of who we could be and start living as the magnificent person we're meant to be? How do we introduce our best version? Let me share with you a framework, a pathway, a journey that can transform your life. And I promise you, if you truly embrace what I'm about to share, your life will never be the same again. The first step in introducing your best version is awareness. You cannot change what you're not aware of. You cannot become your best version if you don't even know what your current version is. So, we must start with radical self-awareness, with honest self-examination. This requires courage, my friends. It requires the courage to look at yourself without filters, without excuses, without justification. Ask yourself these questions and answer them with complete honesty. Who am I right now? Not who I pretend to be, not who others think I am, but who I truly am when no one is watching. What do I value most in life? What brings me genuine joy? What makes me feel alive? What are my natural strengths and talents? What comes easily to me that others struggle with? What are my weaknesses and limitations? Where do I consistently fall short? What do I spend most of my time thinking about? Where does my mind naturally go? What would I do if I knew I could not fail? What would I pursue if money were not a factor? How do I want to be remembered? What legacy do I want to leave? These questions are not easy to answer, my friend. They require deep reflection, silence, and honesty. But this awareness is the foundation of everything else. You cannot build your best version on a foundation of self-deception. You must know your starting point. You must understand your raw material. The diamond must first be examined before the craftsman can create the masterpiece. The second step is acceptance. This is crucial, my friends. Acceptance does not mean resignation. Acceptance does not mean you don't want to grow or change. Acceptance means you acknowledge and embrace where you're right now without judgment, without shame, without comparison. So many people get stuck here. They become aware of their current reality and immediately start judging themselves harshly. I'm such a failure. I'm so far behind. I've wasted so much time. I'm not good enough. Stop. This judgment is toxic. It paralyzes you, it keeps you stuck. Instead, practice self-compassion. Understand that you've done the best you could with the awareness, resources, and circumstances you had. Yes, there's room for growth. Yes, there's potential to be unlocked. But right now, in this moment, you are enough. You are worthy. You are valuable. Acceptance is like preparing the soil before planting a seed. If the soil is hard with judgment and criticism, the seed of your best version cannot take root. But if the soil is soft with compassion and acceptance, growth becomes possible. The third step is intention. Now that you're aware of who you are and you've accepted your starting point, you must get crystal clear on who you want to become. Your best version is not vague or abstract. It's specific, it's vivid, it's compelling. So, create a clear vision of your best version, not based on others' expectations, but based on your own deepest values and authentic desires. Describe your best version in detail. How does this person think? How do they speak? How do they act? How do they treat others? How do they treat themselves? What do they prioritize? How do they spend their time? What habits do they have? What principles guide their decisions? Write this down, my friends. Make it concrete. Make it real, because what is not clear cannot be created. Your intention is like setting the destination in your GPS. Without a clear destination, you'll just wander aimlessly. But with a clear destination, every step you take can move you closer to where you want to be. The fourth step is alignment. This is where the rubber meets the road, my friend. This is where transformation begins. Alignment means bringing your daily actions into harmony with your intention. It means closing the gap between who you are and who you want to become, and you do this through your choices. Every choice you make either moves you toward your best version or away from it. Every single choice, what you eat, what you watch, who you spend time with, how you speak, what you think about, how you start your morning, how you end your evening. Everything matters, everything counts, so audit your life. Look at your daily habits and routines. Ask yourself, is this habit aligned with my best version? Does this action move me closer to or further from the person I want to become? Be ruthless in this audit. If something is not serving your growth, have the courage to eliminate it or change it, and then intentionally design new habits that are aligned with your best version. If your best version is healthy, start with one health-oriented habit. If your best version is knowledgeable, start with a reading habit. If your best version is compassionate, start with a service-oriented habit. Start small, but start, and be consistent. Remember, you don't become your best version through one grand gesture. You become your best version through thousands of small, consistent choices that compound over time. The fifth step is authenticity. My friends, this is perhaps the most beautiful and liberating part of the journey. Authenticity means having the courage to show up as your true self, not the self you think others want you to be. It means speaking your truth, even when your voice shakes. It means pursuing your path, even when others don't understand. It means honoring your values, even when there's a cost. Here's what I've learned. People are attracted to authenticity like bees to honey. When you have the courage to be your true self, you give others permission to do the same. When you stop pretending and start being real, you attract real relationships, real opportunities, real fulfillment. But authenticity requires tremendous courage because it makes you vulnerable. When you're authentic, people might judge you, criticize you, reject you. And that's okay, because the right people, the people who are meant to be in your life, will love you not despite your authenticity, but because of it. And the wrong people, the people who only liked your mask, will fall away. And that's okay too, because your best version doesn't need everyone's approval. Your best version needs your own approval. Your best version needs integrity. Your best version needs congruence between your inner world and outer expression. The sixth and final step is contribution. Here's a profound truth, my friends. Your best version is never just about you. Your best version is about what you can give, what you can contribute, how you can serve. The most fulfilled people I know are not those who have achieved the most for themselves, but those who have contributed the most to others. When you use your unique gifts, talents, and strengths to make a positive difference in others' lives, something magical happens. You experience a deep sense of meaning and purpose. You realize that your life matters, that you matter, so ask yourself, how can I use my best version to serve others? How can my strengths solve someone else's problem? How can my story inspire someone else's journey? How can my presence make someone else's day better? Start small, serve one person, help one neighbor, mentor one student, encourage one colleague, compliment one stranger. As you consistently contribute, you'll discover something beautiful. The more you give from your best version, the more your best version grows. Contribution is not the result of becoming your best version. Contribution is the pathway to becoming your best version. Now, my dear friends, you have the knowledge, you understand the steps, but knowledge without action is useless. Information without implementation is worthless. So, what are you going to do? When are you going to start? The answer, my friends, must be now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when circumstances are perfect. Now, right now, in this very moment, because here's the truth, there will never be a perfect time to introduce your best version. Life will always give you reasons to wait, reasons to delay, reasons to stay comfortable. But your best version is not comfortable. Your best version requires you to stretch, to grow, to evolve. So, I'm going to give you a very specific challenge. A challenge that you can start implementing immediately. Are you ready? Here it is. For the next 30 days, I want you to do this. Every morning, as soon as you wake up, before you check your phone, before you do anything else, I want you to close your eyes and ask yourself this question. If I were living as my best version today, how would I show up? Take a moment to visualize. See yourself moving through your day as your best version. See how you treat people. See how you handle challenges. See how you make decisions. See how you carry yourself. Feel what it feels like to be that person. And then, throughout the day, before every important action or decision, pause for just a moment and ask, what would my best version do in this situation? And then do that. That's it. Simple, but not easy. This one practice, done consistently for 30 days, will begin to rewire your brain. It will create new neural pathways. It will shift your identity. You'll start making choices aligned with your best version rather than your habitual version. But let me warn you, my friends, the journey to your best version is not a straight line. There will be days when you fail, days when you fall back into old patterns, days when you feel like you're making no progress at all. And on those days, I want you to remember this. Failure is not falling down. Failure is refusing to get back up. Your best version is not about perfection. Your best version is about direction. It's not about never making mistakes. It's about learning from those mistakes and continuing to move forward. So, be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself, but also be committed. Be disciplined. Be relentless in your pursuit of becoming who you're truly meant to be. Here's another powerful practice I want you to implement. Find an accountability partner. Find someone who is also committed to becoming their best version, someone you trust, someone who will be honest with you. Share your vision of your best version with them. Ask them to check in with you regularly. Ask them to call you out when you're not showing up as your best version. Ask them to celebrate with you when you do. We don't become our best version in isolation, my friends. We need community. We need support. We need people who believe in us even when we struggle to believe in ourselves. Don't try to do this alone. The journey is too difficult, too challenging. Find your people. Build your tribe. Surround yourself with others who are committed to growth, to authenticity, to contribution. I also want you to create what I call best version rituals. These are specific practices that anchor you to your best version every single day. For example, you might have a morning ritual where you meditate for 10 minutes, journal about your intentions for the day, and read something inspiring. Or you might have an evening ritual where you reflect on your day, celebrate your wins, learn from your challenges, and express gratitude. Or you might have a weekly ritual where you review your progress, adjust your approach, and recommit to your vision. These rituals become the scaffolding that supports your transformation. They create consistency. They build momentum. They remind you every single day of who you're becoming. And here's something else I want you to understand. Your best version is not a fixed destination. It's an evolving expression. As you grow, as you learn, as you gain new experiences, your understanding of your best version will deepen and expand. And that's beautiful. That's exactly how it should be. So, don't think of this as a one-time project that you complete and then you're done. Think of this as a lifelong practice, a continuous journey of becoming. Every year, you'll discover new dimensions of your best version. Every decade, you'll unlock new levels of your potential. This is the adventure of being human. This is the privilege of being alive. One more thing before I close, my friends. As you begin this journey, you might face resistance. Not just from within yourself, but from others. Some people in your life might not understand your transformation. Some might even try to discourage you. Some might prefer the old version of you because it made them feel comfortable or superior. And you know what? That's okay. As you grow, you might outgrow some relationships. Some people might leave your life, and while that can be painful, it's necessary, because you cannot shrink yourself to make others feel comfortable. You cannot dim your light to make others feel less dark. Your job is not to convince everyone of the value of your best version. Your job is to become your best version and trust that the right people will celebrate that transformation. Remember, crabs in a bucket pull down any crab that tries to escape. Don't let anyone pull you back into the bucket. Surround yourself with eagles who inspire you to soar, not crabs who want you to stay stuck. My dear friends, as I come to the end of this message, I want you to understand something profound. The fact that you're here right now, listening to these words, is not an accident. The fact that this message has resonated with your heart is not a coincidence. I believe that deep within you there's a whisper, a calling, a knowing that you're meant for something more. That whisper is your best version calling out to you, asking to be introduced, asking to be lived, asking to be expressed. And the question is, will you answer that call? Will you have the courage to introduce your best version, not just to the world, but first to yourself? Will you commit to this journey knowing it will be challenging, knowing it will require sacrifice, knowing it will push you beyond your comfort zone? I hope your answer is yes. I hope you choose courage over comfort. I hope you choose growth over stagnation. I hope you choose authenticity over approval. I hope you choose to introduce your best version, starting today, because the world needs your best version, my friends. Your family needs your best version. Your community needs your best version. The people whose lives you're meant to touch need your best version. And most importantly, you need your best version. You deserve to live as the person you're truly meant to be. You deserve to experience the joy, the fulfillment, the peace that comes from living authentically. You deserve to look in the mirror at the end of your life and say, I became who I was meant to become. I lived fully. I loved deeply. I contributed meaningfully. I introduced my best version to the world, and the world is better because I was here. So, my final words to you are these: don't wait, don't delay, don't let another day pass where you're living as a lesser version of yourself. The time is now, the moment is here, the opportunity is before you. Take it, embrace it, run with it, introduce your best version, not someday, not when everything is perfect, but now, today, in this very moment. Make the decision, make the commitment, take the first step. And then keep walking, keep growing, keep becoming. The journey will be worth it, my friends. I promise you it will be worth it. Your best version is waiting. The world is waiting. And most importantly, you are waiting for yourself to finally, fully, completely show up as who you truly are. So go ahead. Introduce your best version. The world is ready to meet them. Thank you, my dear friends. Thank you for your time, for your attention, for your open heart. I believe in you. I believe in your potential. I believe in your best version. Now, it's time for you to believe too. May you have the courage to begin, the strength to continue, and the wisdom to know that your best version is not something you become someday in the future, but something you choose to be right now in this very moment. God bless you all.